And with the hopes and dreams of saving at least $10,000 and go back home and start my own business over there.
What kind of business before you keep going?
I'm a boba lover.
Oh,
Yeah, and also
okay.
the vision was to have an internet cafe with enough computers for the kids to use, because not a lot of Filipinos have access to computers.
Yeah, we were about to say, for those of you that don't know what internet cafes are, man, that was back in the day.
Back in the day.
You have to go to a certain location just to access
Yes.
There'll be rows of computers,
Yep.
and that's where you can only access internet. Check your Yahoo Mail back then, Hotmail back then. I think we're dating ourselves a little bit on this, right?
Yes. So that's really what it was. But then, because my son was there, so I was a single mom, and I came here as an exchange student visitor, and the program was supposedly for a year with an exemption if they like you and extend you for another year. So I was so blessed and grateful that my sponsors, my host parents, extended my contract, and I was. When they extended my contract for a second year, I met my husband. Because I had no plans on, really about
on even meeting someone. I'm
meeting
sure.
someone or staying in the U.S. Because
yeah.
that was just really my goal. Get some education here in the U.S. Be highly competitive when I go back to the Philippines.
Correct.
And have my own business running while I was doing a career in
Boba and internet cafe,
Boba
right?
internet. While I was a professor, because my educational background is BS chemistry teaching.
Okay.
So that's my educational background. But then, as I met my husband, he proposed a month later. 3 months later, we're married.
Hey. And still married till today.
Still married till
going
today.
Strong with two lovely children,
yeah,
right?
Almost 13,000 days and almost 15 years.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm grateful for him. So.
All right. So you came here, you had a chemistry background, but you're in life insurance now.
Yeah, in financial services.
You're in financial services. How did we get from there to here? Tell me more.
Well, actually, I worked for the school district first as soon as I was able to work here, right? Transitioning from becoming an exchange student to a permanent resident. And growing up in a different culture, with the way high school kids are in a public school setting was very culturally shocking. So I did that, and I was a language support liaison for after-school program for high school and elementary schools for a school district in California. And I only lasted for a semester.
Hey, and you're better than most.
Yes.
All right.
Unfortunately,
at least you tried.
I guess it's not God's will. I went to school to do that, right? But it led me to a different route. Now I got a job at a skilled nursing facility. I just worked there on weekends while I was transitioning from the school district, and a few months later, I got an admissions director, clinical liaison, marketing position. So my job in that healthcare facility it's the largest skilled nursing facility provider for nursing at that time. This was in 2010.
In all of California or just the county?
No, in all of the U.S.
Oh, wow.
They're the largest.
Wow.
So the catalyst really was, my job was to evaluate patients, right? So I have to make sure that we could provide the short-term rehabilitation if they had heart attack, stroke, or recovering from cancer, or they actually need long-term care planning or hospice or respite because their caregivers are really tired of, they just really need a break, or really they're at the end of their life, or they just can't really be taken care of at home. So that was my job.
Wow.
And I've seen patients from their homes, from other facilities, from the hospitals, from you name it, different types of hospitals, short-term or long-term care acute hospitals. That was my job, and my territory was huge. It's all over the Bay Area. I would drive 3 hours just to help a patient and see if they can come because nobody else was willing to go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that was my job, and I really totally enjoyed it, right? But then one day I had this referral who was a doctor. He's known in our county. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at late 40s. And early 50s, he's already total care.
Wow.
Okay. Who plans on being sick at late 40s and not being able to provide for a family
Yeah.
early 50s,
Yeah.
right? So with that, he was supposed to be, there's a lot more, but I'm not going to share because my executive director, we actually had a discussion because she wanted me, and I love her, right? Because we know every business has to run like a business. It has to be profitable,
Of
right?
course, of
So
course.
same thing as hospitals and healthcare facilities. But at that time, she wanted me to put him in a because like a room, and there's 3 bedrooms,
Oh.
and this doctor, he's lucid, he's there, right? But it's just that he can't. His body is not able. His
Yeah.
total care. And she wanted me to put him in a 3-bedroom in the middle of 2 patients who are demented. One is screaming all day long.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I can't put him there, right? So I really wanted him to put in a semi-private room, and have the dignity that all of us need, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're demented patients. So I mean, everybody deserves
Good care.
good care.
Yeah. Yes.
But I was able to negotiate that with my boss in exchange for 3 more patients. So that's how I was able to help that patient be in a room that they really wanted, right?
Yeah.
Because he was on Medicaid, he was Medi-Cal. So that means the government is paying because he spent down all of the savings. He already
Oh,
exhausted
wow.
all of his resources,
Wow.
right? And the catalyst was, the last straw was, his wife was very stressed out. I don't think she really worked a lot because he was the provider. And then they had a daughter, who was a beautiful daughter. I think she was also going to med school. And I will never forget, it was a Thursday afternoon. He was supposed to be transferred at 2 p.m. in a non-emergency ambulance transport. At around 9:10, between that time, his wife calls me and said, Terri, is there any way your company van pick up my husband? And I was like, well, we can make arrangements and see what our driver's schedule is. But the doctor's orders for him to be transported through non-emergency ambulance transport.
Yeah.
And really the bottom line is they didn't have the money to pay privately for that non-emergency ambulance
Yeah.
transport. It's the last day.
Wow.
He's going to live in his house
Wow.
and leave to live in a place he doesn't want to be in,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
No one-
So
Yeah.
that was my introduction to knowing more about money, financial services. Because if this doctor who makes really good income, I'm assuming, I'm assuming, and he's seen his patients at the hospital, and he has his own practice and did very well. I'm pretty sure he's a sought after doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
it would probably be doing
Right.
a few hundreds of thousands in
At least.
take-home income. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my thought was, how about the nurses? How about the people working at the grocery store? How about the Terry and the Fernando, our family?
Yeah.
How about this, my coworker? What are they doing? Like what preparation is everybody else doing if this
If he
doctor
didn't-
is not?
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to wanting to learn more and know more. So my friend, who actually helped me come to the U.S., she's my son's godmother, and she's my
Nice.
super close friend.
Nice.
We've been friends for 23 years.
Nice.
So those few friends that you keep. She's a teacher, like me. I was finishing up my teaching credentials too, but she's a teacher already here. And she started in financial services to working weekends.
Oh, okay.
So she said, Terri, I need training. Can you please help me with my training? Most of us get started like that, right? He's like, what do you mean training? I mean, you're a teacher. I said, do I have to go to
What
school?
else are you learning?
Because I've helped you with that when we were in the Philippines. I've helped you with all of your thesis and stuff. So what else? And she's like, no. I'm trying to transition into a different industry and see if I can make more income, help my family a little bit more, and understand finances. Oh, really? So I mean, we're searching, we're seeking for the information.
Yeah.
So it was God. I believe it was God.
Nice.
But my husband was super skeptical.
Ah,
He's like, no, they're not coming to the house. Because if they come to the house, the moment they sell us something, they're out the door. And I'm not going to be scared to tell her that.
so while you were going through this internal struggle to learn more about financial services, what was Fernando, your husband, doing at that time?
He is actually a supervisor. He actually was there for 10 years for a seafood company.
Okay.
So he was managing a fleet of truck drivers, but also he was covering for them when someone calls in sick. But his educational background really is Bachelor of Human Services Management. He stayed there because if he would use his education, he will take a huge pay cut.
Pay cut, yeah.
So unfortunately, he was there.
Wow.
For
Another financial lesson,
exactly.
right?
After all of those student loans and everything, he couldn't use it. He had to make the choice. So yeah, that's what he was doing. To answer your
So
question.
you started learning more about financial services, and how did it keep going from there?
So they came. Everything made sense. We're skeptical, but thank God we are open-minded enough to learn and really understand what it is. So what I did was, can I do this part-time? So I asked, I said, of course you can, right? There's a lot of people that need your help. So that's all I really wanted to know. I can make extra income, but also really the service that you could give to the next person. Because if nobody called us in the last 6 years I've been in the corporate world, me and my husband, nobody's called us for anything to learn about financial literacy. Well, what is the rest of the country doing, right? Because we were making decent income. So just
and plus,
imagine.
you're seeing some of the way that not preparing properly for financial events could kind of, take a massively negative turn in one's family or personal life or whatever it is, even career or businesses, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So not knowing that a few years later in 2019, I would be diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
So I'm a recipient of the products and services that I offer to people. So I'm a huge advocate.
Living testimony.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. So,
Yes.
so how did that transition happen for you, that you went from being an employee to saying, you know what, done this a little bit part-time, I want to jump out full-time? Like, what was that process for you?
I think mentorship for that. At every level, you need mentors, right? My mentor said...
Tell me more. Tell me more. This is good.
My mentor said, Terri, you have kids. Every benefits, everything else is through your work. Let's make sure that we plan this out. So they didn't let us just fail, because I'm really grateful for mentors who care. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So he said, let's save up at least a year of your annual income. Let's save it up, and then let's transition. Okay. See if, but you have to get good. You have to be able to do this independently on your own with very, very minimal supervision or very minimal help from the next person. Because if you can do this on your own, you're not making 100% of your income.
Well, let's go back to that mentors who care. I mean, a lot of people ask for advice from different people around them. Right. Right. So what do you consider a mentor versus somebody who's just giving you advice?
Someone I can be accountable to. Right? Accountability is big. Accountability is not for them. It's for me. So if they gave me tasks, because when you want someone to mentor you, you don't expect someone to just mentor you. No. You have to ask for it, right? So we had to be accountable to them and make sure that the goals that we were trying to accomplish is really being accomplished. So we have daily accountability to them. Okay. That's what we had to do.
Okay, so it's something that you are pursuing, not that you're expecting somebody, just because you call them your mentor, they're supposed to do everything for you. Yeah. They're supposed to be the one checking on you. They're the one supposed to be making sure that, hey, have you done? Have you done? Right. Have you done? No.
Right. It's the other way around. Yeah, that was it. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do that, but we have to want it more for ourselves than they want it for us. Because if they want it more for ourselves than we want it for us, then we're not going to get to the destination that we want to get to.
So good.
So we had to take full ownership of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish.
So now that you're doing it full time, how's the journey been like? Man. How many years has it been? How about that? How many years have you been from part-time, because I still consider that as the entrepreneurial start, right, till today. How long has it been?
It's my 10th year.
Nice.
This year, 2023.
Nice.
So
the Big 10. We're going to
yep.
celebrate somehow, right?
Yes, September.
There you go.
Yes,
there
yes.
you go.
I started, like what I said, part-time. I'm just really grateful that at my job, even though they knew it was a twin career for me, I'm just really grateful. I'm just really blessed that I was able to build credibility, that they were willing to be my clients in the beginning, that got me through the transition. Most of my clients are coworkers, referrals from coworkers, nurses, case managers at the hospitals, even the social services at the hospital, the doctors that I knew. I'm just grateful for their support.
You kind of stole my next question, which is how do you get your clients, you know? But
yeah, that was it.
Really, it's, from what I'm hearing here, it's all about having a good network of people.
Yeah.
And also delivering value.
Yes.
Right? Because if you didn't do good, would they have sent more people to you?
I don't think so. If they're not happy with my services, they won't think of me. They'll
or
make
they
sure.
didn't get a benefit from you or something, right?
It's been like that for me. Most of my referrals actually most of my clients come from word of mouth referrals. Just, I have people calling me at 7 o'clock in the evening. Hey, I have a coworker who's about to retire. Can you please help
Talk
her?
to them,
Yeah, please talk to them at least. Because they know that I take my time. I don't just treat them as someone I can make money. I want to make sure that I'm with them throughout the journey and we become friends. I tell them, you can't get rid of me. Even if you want to.
You're part of the family now, right?
God willing, right? I live long life. I'll be here with you. Like, I mean, maybe it's not, I'm sure there's a disadvantages and advantages, but they can call me anytime and I'll be there.
There's no right or wrong way. You know? It's your touch. That's your touch, and that's
I just love it.
That's really what we're trying to find out. What's the, you know, what's the secret sauce that you have there? Because it seems like if people are calling you and keep referring to you, there's something that you're doing that's right.
Thank you.
You know?
I mean, I just love on people. I just feel like if I was given the opportunity to change somebody else's life, and I can get really emotional about this, because if we deserve to get that phone call that night, we wouldn't be in a position where we are today. Because if it changed our lives, because when I was sick, it was really hard, right? So when I had cancer, my husband didn't want to go to work. They didn't want to do anything. We couldn't tell our kids.
It's tough.
So
it's tough.
If someone was great enough, or just God aligned us to those people and it changed our lives, I know I can change the next person's life. That's really my philosophy in doing this business. If I can make an impact and change their life for the better, and I leave them better than when I found them, I did my job. So that's how I look at it.
Good. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
To start off your business, did you have to get any type of financing, any type of funding, SBA loan? I mean, was that required to be able to provide financial services to clients?
So when I was starting, I was actually starting my own care home, which there's a lot of funding needed, at least, well, not a lot, maybe $50,000. But then I switched to doing this.
Well, was it more like an assisted living?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But then when I learned about this, it was $500, really. It's like licensing. But really, what I would say, that's the most important part is time. Time is money. The learning process, the learning curve, and, you know, from educational background to healthcare to now totally different world. That's really where the most of the investment came from.
It's
like
time.
the time that I had to put in learning.
Ooh, I got more for you, because now that you're talking time, it's like nowadays people just want to jump into something and make all the money today, right now. I want it right now. Oh, it's going to take me 5 years? No. I need to do it now.
Yep.
Tell us more about why invest time, right, to be able to be a successful entrepreneur.
My mentor said, Terri, you want to get good at this? You put in 10 years or 10,000 hours, as fast as humanly possible. I said, I'll get the 10,000 hours. I want to get good at it, really good at it.
But you have to sleep. What are you doing?
So I had to do that. And because when he said, to really make a big impact, you have to be good. People have to be able to rely on you and be able to trust you, because we're talking about people's most of the time is their life savings.
Yeah.
So you don't want to practice on that, right? Yeah. So you don't want to do that. So I never been, okay, I'm a mom, 2 little kids when I started. My husband wakes up at 4, leaves the house at 4:30 and comes back home 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. So mommy, employee, full-time employee, 24/7 on call at my job, and I have to do this business at the same time. So the kids and I get up between 6:30, leave the house 7:30, drop them to school at 8:30. I have to be at my workplace at 9, usually late, or I have to be at the hospitals where I need to see patients, and then do
Blame it on
all
traffic.
day.
Blame it on traffic.
Exactly. Not all the time, but I mean, but I mean that was my life, and that's every single day. And the hospitals will call Terri at 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening from the ER, because Terry's the only one who's going to answer the phone call to admit patients at 9 or 10 o'clock. That was my routine.
It's a need.
Yes.
That type of work has a 24/7 need.
Yes.
Can't say, hey, somebody is not going to need that type of care
at the
midnight.
ER, correct. No. And then I have to take them, right? So I had to juggle that, but I didn't want to do that forever. So I had to make a decision that it's either this or send the flowers, right? I had to learn this, so I had to juggle it 2 times a week in the evenings, and then a little bit Saturdays. When I started making money, I was like, oh, okay, I can do it, right?
It's making sense now.
Now I really devoted at least 20, 25 hours extra on top of my 50-hour work week.
Man.
Yeah. For 16 months.
Wait, say that again. How many hours again? Let's say that so that they can hear you real nice. Into that camera right there. Right. How many hours?
So I was on call up to 50 hours a week, plus another 20, 25 hours, maybe 30 more, learning this business.
Now that's
building
dedication.
This business.
That's
dedication. For 16 months. Yeah.
One thing I say as entrepreneurs, if you're good at your craft, you know how to do it forwards and backwards. Right. Because everyone's issues and problems or whatever they're coming to you for is never at a set point.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to be able to understand how did they get there without maybe them having to tell you too much.
Right.
With your experience, you're able to kind of deduce what is necessary to take them to that finish line.
Right.
Right. So you can't have that expertise or be that expert if you're just playing around with it.
Just testing the waters.
Yeah, you can't just test the waters.
Right.
Not if you want to go full on, be an entrepreneur. You've got to commit to it.
Right.
And that's what I'm hearing there.
Oh,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Part of the financial services that you do is going to be life insurance, right?
Right.
So I always have this burning question to all my life insurance folks out there that have that do this business. It's like, why should I get life insurance? That the benefit really is after I die, right? So I don't get any benefit,
Right.
So like, why should I even think about it, right? If I'm not here, what's the point?
Right. Some people look at it like that, right? It's funny that's how most people think. And then I make it a joke about it. Come on, man. You can't be jealous and dead at the same time. And they're like, well, that's right.
Okay.
And then if I'm with a husband and wife, I said, do you love your wife? Well, they're not going to say no in front of their wife, at least.
Hopefully not.
Right. If something happens, because, you have not met someone immortal yet, right?
No.
So, if something happens to you, if you really love your family, do you want to really leave them in shambles? Do you want to leave a legacy or a liability? Do you want to leave them a legacy or burden? It's a choice that we make.
That's good.
And not only that, life insurance is a tool that a lot of people use for many different reasons.
Correct.
Right? It's not just when we pass away, though it's one of the main reasons why people get it. Right? It's to make sure we provide for the people that we'll leave behind.
That's good.
Right?
Actually, that takes us a perfect segue into what you do for businesses and business owners, you know,
Right.
this executive bonus plan.
Right.
Right. That's one of the financial services or financial tools,
Yep.
of financial products that you provide for business owners. Can you tell us a little bit more what executive bonus plans are all about?
I love business owners who love to give a little bit more to their employees, right? An executive bonus plan is really a tax code. You know what it is.
Right. You know?
IRC section 162.
They're benefits, right? So
Right.
it's a product and it's a tax
Right.
plan. Go
Yes.
ahead.
So it's simply put, it's a way to reward key employees to make sure you help recruit, retain, and give them additional supplemental benefits to keep them loyal to you, right? Or as a business owner, you could also give it to yourself instead of giving to the government. Pretty much. What do you want, right? Give it to the government, or as long as it's reasonable compensation to you, right? You could give it to yourself and benefit you and your family. Because this type of life insurance, a lot of people use it as a supplemental retirement income, which is tax-free.
Ooh, we're going to come back to that supplemental retirement income, but
Yes.
keep going.
Which is tax-free. So, I don't know, for example, right, it's not really exactly an executive bonus plan, but it's the same concept. You've heard of Jim Harbaugh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Football
Michigan
coach.
Wolverines.
Michigan.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. So,
College football, yeah.
the only way Michigan State University is keeping him, well, not only way, but he loves it, right? It's his alma mater. So one of the biggest part of his compensation plan is a cash value life insurance. So they put in, by the way, just a disclosure, it doesn't have to be this amount. Okay, we're going to be talking
It would
about
be
it.
nice if it was paid to me,
Exactly.
right? But go ahead,
So
tell
we're
us.
talking about sometimes a few $100s, but it's just to make it a point, right? They give a lump sum of $4 million and $2 million every single year for the next 5 years. So they put $14 million in his cash value life insurance. If something happens to him, if he passes away, the beneficiaries will receive up to $35 million.
Wow.
It will take care of his family and his legacy, generational wealth.
Oh, of course.
And also, it will allow the university to find a good replacement for him for that amount. Now, if that doesn't happen and he completes the agreement, right, he can use it as a tax-free retirement income. He is projected to at least pull out about 1.4 tax-free income, but from the time he's 66, if I'm not mistaken, until he's
1.4 million a year.
a year, until from age 66 until he is age 95.
Wow. Wow.
It's a win-win. It's
Yeah.
a win-win.
It's
for
a
the
way to
university.
keep him there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because I mean, probably there are some other colleges that can pay that much and all that stuff, you know.
Right.
But this is a good additional bonus to his salary and a
Exactly.
way to keep him there.
Yes.
Also,
So it's really, they call it the
because
golden handcuffs.
the longer he stays,
Yeah.
the better it is, right?
Yeah.
Because
But-
there's more being paid into that program.
Right, and it's a great deal for everybody involved. If
Yeah.
I really look at it,
Yeah.
his wife is happy, right? His kids are happy, his employers are happy, and he's happy.
Yeah.
So, how could you lose? And his team is happy because he's there.
Of course.
Right.
Of
Yeah.
course. Of course. So tell us a little bit more about what kind of objectives would you have with executive bonus plans?
Well, it really depends on the business owner. Do they have top performing employees that they want to keep, right? Because if you don't give them the extra benefits sometimes, right? So if you really want to keep them, you got to give them supplemental benefits. So it's either you keep them or they work for a competitor.
And nowadays it's so hard to just find
Yes.
good staff.
Yeah,
So why don't you keep the good staff?
right. The good thing about it is you can select the employees that you'd like to give it to.
Oh, so
There's-
it doesn't have to be like
No.
all this
Correct.
type of employees or everybody qualifies. It's
Right.
not like a retirement plan then, is it? Because those have some stipulations on who vests and so on, right?
Yes, amen. Yes, yes.
Interesting.
And then there's no DOL approval needed, so there's not a lot of paperwork that goes around it, really, because you can turn it on, turn it off, right?
Okay.
There's the corporate agreement between the employer and the executive, and it's very simple. It's tax deductible for
It's
the
a
employer.
business expense. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it's the bonus is income, considered income to the employee, but then he's protecting his family. He has when he pays for his income already, the capital gains is already taxed. You don't have to pay taxes on capital gains. So it's a great way to keep a top performing employee loyal to you, because you're not only giving them a supplemental benefit, but that means you also care for their family. So if life insurance is something that they need for their family and they have kids, small kids, and they have growing family, it's just a great extra and supplemental benefit for them. Not only that, it will be a good source of retirement income.
Let's go there. So when you retire, how does this executive bonus plan kind of work out for me, right? How do I make it retirement income?
So it could be done in two ways, right? You take withdrawals,
Okay.
because it's first in, first out, right? So the money that was put in first is what you withdraw first,
And it's
then
tax-free.
Correct, it's tax free.
Okay.
Now then the rest becomes like a loan. It is a loan. So that's why it's so important to find the right vehicle, the right product. Because when the loan in those type of cash value life insurance is high, and the interest rate
Okay.
has to at least supersede that.
The gains on that product.
So it does not lapse. The reason why it's tax free is you keep it and it doesn't lapse. So if you keep it until you pass away, I call it like you have to marry it and not divorce, right? So you have to keep it until you're
So
alive.
it's the work to figure out that right number,
Yeah,
to
so-
make it tax-free retirement
Correct.
income when it's time for that. And that loan goes against your death benefit then,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I always say these types of strategies and types of plans make sense only if it's structured properly and funded, structured correctly and funded properly. It has to be structured like that. You can't just treat it as a life insurance. It has to be structured the way it's supposed to be.
Now, these plans, these executive bonus plans, can I do it? Is there a time limit? Is it like a 1-year thing, a 5-year thing that I'm locked into having to do this for my employees?
Well, I wouldn't say 1 year, because then it's going to become a huge tax liability. If you put like a huge lump sum, we have to structure it maybe at least 5 years.
At least 5 years?
At least
Okay.
5 years, as long as it's funded correctly and the time frame and the age of the employee and how much we're going to be putting in. So it has to be done that way, but at least 5 years.
Okay,
And the
can-
numbers have to make sense.
Can an employee have multiple executive bonus plans? So maybe there's one that I say, hey, I only want it to be this much, right? Just to test it out and see if it works. And then once I've funded for 5 years and all that stuff, I do another one, another 5 years after that. Is that possible?
Great question. It is possible because it is based on the insurable need of the executive. So
Okay.
if there's a need for the insurance, of course, then yeah, because it has to go through underwriting process. So, for example, if you're 30 years old, you can have as much as 30 times of your annual income,
Okay.
35 times of your income. So if it's within that threshold, and we can still put another $1 million or another $2 million, then yeah, by all means, I have 4.
Why not, right? Why
So
not?
yeah, why not?
Oh, no, that's good. All right. So one thing I'd like to ask all of my, everyone that comes here is going to be, with everything you know now, if you were to go all the way back to Terri that was at that center, the facility, healthcare facility, and right before you jumped out into being an entrepreneur, what would you do differently?
That's always a question I get, I believe so it didn't take that long, is to believe in myself that I could do it sooner. Like, it took me a little bit of time to really believe that I can be ultra successful in this business. I thought I'm just here to produce and help clients, right? Which is, that's really the reason why I'm here. I want to help people, I want to help clients. But building a business is a totally different animal.
Yeah.
It's a totally different conversation. So when that really came to me like, oh, okay, so this is really a business I can build as big as I want, right?
Scale.
Scale it. Like right now, like tonight, we're leaving to go to Ohio because we have people who have amazing people, master's degree and PhD and all that, and they want to be in financial services because they were in mortgages before and they wanted to be in a different industry and have more control of their income and their career path. So I wish I believed sooner of how big it could have been. So by now, I mean, there's more people that I can impact. Because my goal, I was able to come here in the United States because of an experience of working for an orphanage. I was able to go, a portion of my college is to go, I was sponsored so the board of directors paid for my huge portion of my allowance. Because I was a state scholar, so there's really not a lot of money to pay to school because I was a scholar. But the money for transportation and food and uniform and all that. So outside of becoming very, very financially independent and leave generational wealth for my family, is I want to be able to share the same opportunity to the next person. And if if only I've seen that I could do that right away, it would be a different. Well, I'll be like busier, or I will be in a different, heights right now.
That's good.
So that's what I would say, because I really wanted to be able to give back on a bigger scale. If I'm gonna build an orphanage in third world countries, like some of our our colleagues were Uganda or Nigeria or everybody or the Philippines, I can't do that if my income is going to be limited.
That's right.
So
That's right.
It's really not about the money, it's the tool that we use so that we can do more
make an impact
and do something bigger and more of an impact. It's just really a tool that we can use. So I'm not there yet.
Okay.
So if there's one thing I could change,
we'll
is
keep
that.
watching you. We'll keep watching you.
I'm excited though.
So for our viewers out there, what is a final thought you just want to share with them?
For those people who wanted to take the route of entrepreneurship, there's, for me, because it's not going to be an easy ride, but there's no such thing as failure. It's all just learning lessons. I call those times when it gets really tough and frustrating as character building days. Right? So when you go through tough times and you are able to overcome it, you become a better person. And it just made you become better. So if you're in your journey of becoming an entrepreneur, all I could say is fail forward and never quit.
And fail fast, as they
and
say,
fail
right?
fast. Because my mentor always says, Terri, winners never quit and quitters never win. So be a winner.
That's right.
Don't quit. So
That's right. Well, there you have it. This has been another episode of Business Gist. Talking to Terri Abellera. Thank you very, very much for stopping by and gracing us with your presence and just sharing about your experience and also educating us on executive bonus plans.
Thank you.
We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thank
Take
you for
care.
having me.